Hey there. So in this video, I am taking you behind the scenes to a tool called GroupTrack, which is a CRM or customer relationship manager that works specifically with Facebook and with Instagram. So it's a social CRM. Some people use it for social sales. I happen to use it to facilitate better connections with the online communities that I lead and I manage. If you don't know me, my name is Tonya Kubo, and that's exactly what I do for a living. I'm a community strategist. I work with a lot of Facebook groups, but I also work with groups off of Facebook. But when I'm managing Facebook groups, GroupTrack is my lifeline. What GroupTrack does, it helps me keep track of the conversations that I have with members of each of my individual groups. Also helps me understand their pain points, what brought them into the group that they're in. I typically manage anywhere from 5 to 10 groups at any given time. And so it's easy for me to lose track of folks, but GroupTrack helps me keep everybody all organized and on the right track. So what I'm showing you here is the pipeline management. I'm not going to show you any pipelines because that has people's identifying information. I don't want to do that. But what you can do is, so STTOC is the name of my Facebook group. Obviously, it's an abbreviation. Only my team sees this. So we're not typically all jargony, but here's my group address. So you can, if you type that into the user or into the URL bar in Facebook, you would come up with my group and you wouldn't see anything unless you join the group. You can also use a short link, which is tonya.link/group, and you'll get there as well. And so in this pipeline, I have set this up. So my general settings tags people according to how they answer questions when they request to join the group. So that's something that I think is really important. I feel like everything you do should have a purpose. So I don't believe in collecting data for the sake of collecting data. I only believe in collecting data that you're actually going to use. So I am very thoughtful in the questions that I ask people before they enter the group. So one question that I will ask them is, what problem they're trying to solve. Another question I'll ask them is, what are they looking to accomplish in the group? And then I also do ask them for their email address. So those are the top three things that I ask. And so what I have here under the general settings is I have it set up where I have keywords that are attached to each of the choices that they can answer with the question. So I've got a few questions that are multiple choice and a few that are write-in. And then based on how they answer, they get a certain set of tags that then helps me filter my contacts in order to better serve their needs. So for instance, we offer a free audit, and if they select certain options, they are going to get the STTOC audit tag. And what that lets me know is these are individuals that I need to reach out to and give them information on the audit, or I can tag them on a post in the group that gives information on the audit. If they want the content calendar, that's another free resource we have in our group. Then I can go ahead and tag them in that resource. And so they've come into my group, they had a problem, they asked for some help, and they get that help immediately. That is what GroupTrack helps me to do. So I have this, and then we also have stages. So these are the stages that we can move people through to ensure that everybody who enters our group is making progress along their journey. So some of the things we do in our group is, we make sure that we tag every new member in a welcome post within the first 24 hours. We also send them a welcome message. So we send them a direct message in the first 24 hours. And if they've been in the group for a while, we haven't heard from them, they haven't done a post, we may send them a re-engagement welcome message. If we're having conversations and sort of figuring out how we can help them, we put them in an uncovering needs stage, and so on and so forth. We even, once we tag them in the resource, we have a stage for that, and then we can move them to follow up. This way, we're not sending people a bunch of free resources and then never checking in to see if they have questions. Because of course, if they get the resource and it doesn't make sense to them, they're not going to reach out to us because they're going to feel like, oh, they must just not understand. And they don't want to come to us telling us they don't understand. So we need to follow up with them. So that's something that we do. And then we go all the way down into various things. So I have an untouchable stage, and that's friends, family, members of my team, just so I can move them in a place where they don't clutter up everything else. Now, the two things that I love most about GroupTrack is, one is the pipeline tags, which I already showed you. So I've got How I use ConvertKit as my email management system. And so I have GroupTrack connected to ConvertKit. So based on the tags we give them when they come into the group or when we have interactions with them in the group, they actually get specific tags over in ConvertKit. So they're automatically added to my email list. And then they have tags there that then in turn help me send them the right emails as part of our onboarding sequence, but also later on down the line when we have like specific nurture sequences we want to send. So we've got, the resources, what they're a good fit for, all those good things. Then we have message templates. This is my second favorite thing. This is how I was able to send over 700 DMs in like about a week to my group members, because I had these message templates that were able to keep me out of Facebook jail, but also made it easy for me to sit down, craft all my messages, then queue them up to send out, a little bit at a time. So, I didn't get like dinged by Facebook for sending spam, and I didn't have to babysit sending out all the DMs and send them out live and in real time. So I have templates for welcome to the group, and GroupTrack has these are called spin tags. And what this means is as the messages come up in rotation, it will alternate between using a greeting of hi, first name, hello, first name, hey, first name, hiya, heya, hey there. Those are all terms I use, so it's very natural to me. Here's the body of the message. We've got some additional spin tags in here to help increase the number of variations, and then we have a closing. So if you go up here, you'll see this welcome message has 96 variations. I don't have a huge volume of people coming into my group at any given time, so 96 variations is more than enough for me. And I have a double the here. So let me just fix that while I'm here. See, this is the other thing I love is I can just edit very easily. Okay, so that's all set. And it automatically saves. So uncovering needs, I have 945 variations here because it's possible I'll want to, reach out to like 100 members that we haven't heard from in a month or so and just check in on them. So I have more variations here. And then when I tag them in a resource, here's a message that I can send out to them, or a member of my team can send out to them. And then here's a follow-up message. So those are the only templates that we have. Everything else we would do fresh. And then what we can do is, so let's see here, we go up here. Okay, so I already told you about the integration. So this integrates well with a few, it's not just ConvertKit, a few other email services. But if I go to messages, I can actually use bulk messaging. So what this does is this lets you send out direct messages in bulk. So how I mentioned, I sent out over 700 DMs in a little over a week to members of my group. And the way that I did that is I filtered everybody. I decided what messaging template I wanted to use. I used the uncovering needs template, which is why I have over 900 variations there. And then once I set those messages to be queued, they landed here. So what I love is the queue is paused until you activate it. Then you can decide how long you want to delay between messages, all the way up to 10 minutes between messages, how long of a break you want to take between batches of message, and how you want to take a 15 to 20 minute break every 1 to 2 hours, every 5 to 7 hours. The maximum number of messages per day. My average is 80, but I've gone as high as 130 in a day, depending on what I was doing. And then I always set the queue to pause after one failed message, because if it keeps going after a message fails and then there's multiple fails, then that can get you in Facebook jail. So I don't do that. So these are all set up. I won't say that these are my recommendations. These are just based on my own user behavior. And then I can set a start time and an end time. So this one's 5 a.m. to 1 a.m. I wouldn't typically do that. That is probably a mistake on my part. I'm sure I meant it to go 4 a.m. to like 1 p.m. And then what will happen is all the messages will be queued. They'll come down here in a list, and then I can actually go in one by one and edit them. So I can look through my queue and be like, oh gosh, I just talked to Susie last week. Like this is ridiculous. And then I can personalize that message to Susie. And then I can just start my queue and then let it run. Now, you do need to keep GroupTrack and Facebook open while your queue is running, but it is such a great thing. I have set my queue and then driven my kids to school. And then I don't get back for 90 minutes. And GroupTrack is sending me messages. So when I get back 90 minutes later, I've got responses from the people I've messaged that I can then start having those conversations. So it saves me a ton of time, but really more than anything, it helps me keep track of those conversations that I'm having with people. The other thing is if you don't love this interface, you don't have to work within the GroupTrack app, because GroupTrack works anywhere on Facebook. So you will see there's these little hero icons. They're kind of a superhero icon. I can add any of these folks who have commented on my page post to GroupTrack just right here through my sidebar. It also works in Messenger. So I can go here. This is actually like my babysitter, but I can go here and I can go here. And I think she's, you know what? She's in my off limits list because, well, maybe she's not. There we go. There she's popping up. All right. So I could add her here to GroupTrack if I wanted to. And then I could send out messages. So let's just say we're going to add her to the holding tank. That's a different queue than the one I just showed you. And then I can send a message or the message template here. Let's just say I'm going to send her, maybe I'll send her a friend request here, right? And so this could be like, you know, hey, Dineva, I sent you this friend request, and then I could send it now or I could queue it. So that is just a tip of the iceberg of what GroupTrack can do and how GroupTrack helped me to send so many direct messages to members of my group. Because that's one thing I will recommend. I don't stalk all over Facebook and send cold pitch DMs. That's just not my style. But when people come into my Facebook group, I want to make sure they feel seen and they feel known. And the way that I do that is I use GroupTrack in order to facilitate that relationship, help me to remember what's going on in their life, what's important to them, so that when we have conversations, I can pick up where we left off. I don't need to say, oh yeah, remind me again, what's your business? Oh, tell me again about your group. All of that is already contained in their client file or in their contact file for me. So that's how I use GroupTrack. If you're a GroupTrack user, I would love to hear about it. If you're not a GroupTrack user, we do have a link below. It's an affiliate link somewhere around this video, depending on where you found this video. And it will get you a 14-day free trial so you can try GroupTrack for yourself. The bulk messaging aspect of GroupTrack is in their premier tier. But if you're just looking for a way to keep track of your group members or your contacts on Facebook or Instagram, you can just go to the bottom tier and that will work out for you. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments or drop us a line. Our contact information also is below this video, and we will talk to you soon.